fight are we at? 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
2 and 3.
Okay. Good. 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 Good, Tyler. Move that head just a little bit more. That's a good counter. Body. 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 Where's
Probably
the body
4 or
at?
5 months
Feel
before
just
their
like that, Brian.
birthday, they said that's what they'd like to do is box. I think because their father and their uncle both boxed when they were young. So I brought them down here on their 12th birthday.
Our dad, we used to always ask our dad about like when he boxed and where he boxed, and that got us really interested. We started asking when we could go, and then whenever it hit our 12th birthday, our grandma took us down here and we tried it out, and we just kept on coming every day.
We actually came down on the birthday night and talked to Coach Eddie.
Well, when I first met Brian and Tyler, their grandma brought them down with their dad, and scrawny little white kids. We don't have many white kids down here. A lot of Hispanics and African Americans, and I was like, I told them this also that I give them 2 weeks, and they're gonna come back.
Their first reaction was, I think they thought they were just gonna get in the ring and fight, that it wasn't gonna be all the hard work that it is.
I knew they struggled. I knew they hated it. We run a lot of hills, do a lot of sprints. Once we start working the arms and punching bags, it's like I could tell they were sore, and it's like nothing they've ever done before. And I didn't think they were really gonna make it. I didn't think they were ever gonna have fights, because every day I have kids tell me, Coach, I want to be a fighter. I want to box. Okay, it's much easier said than done. But they stuck with it, and they proved me wrong.
My reaction when they wanted to box was it was a good thing, but we've been a lot of baseball for 5 or 6 years, and I've been their coach, so it's been a big difference for me not being able to be on the field with them right now, and they're down here, but it's a good thing. I enjoy watching them fight. It's had a good impact. They're a lot more disciplined. They have been listening a lot better. They're trying a lot harder. They're doing better in school, and it's really been good on them.
They'd fight with each other all the time when I first met them. They'd argue with each other all the time, and it's to try to prove one up each other. But now as the year has gone by, they're more mature. They don't fight as much. They listen to everything I tell them, especially when we're doing drills in the ring, when they're sparring and they're fighting. When we spar, whenever we have any sessions and I see they're doing something bad, I raise my voice, but not in like an angry. I just tell them, hey, you need to pick it up, man. This jab you're throwing is terrible. Do you like to get hit in the face? Do you like people hitting you? Do you enjoy that? Because you can do this all day. And I show them their flaws. Like, you know what? You're not throwing your hook. You're not moving your head. And I stop them. I tell them, hey, we got to work on this, guys. You got to understand that if you do it here, you're gonna do it in a fight. And I don't want you to bring your grandma, your parents out there to watch you lose. We're here to win.
Coach Eddie stands up to him in a nice way. He's like, you're gonna have good grades if you're gonna box. I'm gonna look at your report card. If one of them starts to lose their cool when they're sparring, it's like, no, we're not gonna do this. When he takes them to a show or a boxing match, I should say, he doesn't let them showboat like some of the guys really showboat. And he doesn't allow that. He keeps them humble, but he makes them good fighters.
Our coach Eddie, he plays a big role because he lets us come down every day, 5:30 to 7:30. One is to push yourself further than your limits, and also it's about dedication. And because we come down here every day, and some kids aren't dedicated like that.
Goals, hard work, dedication. Just like Mayweather says, hard work, dedication. That's what ensues. Responsibility, because when I have my kids down here in the program, I expect all those things. Hard work, dedication. I tell them every day, there's only 3 things you should worry about: your religion, your family, and the sport. That's it. You don't got no other responsibilities. You don't got no bills to pay. You don't got no job. You only have school, your family, and your religion. So, with these kids, I tell them every day, hey, if you're down here, I expect 100%. Especially with them, because they are my active fighters. So with them, I push them a little bit harder than I would some other kids. Some other kids, they're not up to their level to where they are fighting yet, or even have that experience. But I try to work them in. I try to have a special group of, hey, these kids are potential fighters. They're going to represent whatsoever.
They've played baseball since T-ball, and they've just had a non-defeated team. They don't know how to lose. They've never lost very much. So I was really proud that Eddie's taught them how to lose here too. He's taught them how to lose by, at the end, he always encourages them. He always tells them, you did your best. I saw you get in there. And then he explains to them what they've done that maybe could have helped them win. But he doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't put them down. He gives them a good hug and a high five afterwards. Takes pictures with them whether they won or lost.
When Brian lost his very first fight, he cried. And he cried. And I was like, why are you crying, man? You just lost. It's okay. But I didn't know that they didn't know how to lose like that. I didn't know that they played competitively to the point where they had never lost no baseball games. And when Brian cried, I said, hey, man, everything's going to be okay, man. It happens. You know, this is a sport. If you are lucky, when you get older, you'll look back on this, when you have your 30th, 50th fight. You'll look back at that third fight and be like, man, I remember when I lost and I cried. Now, it ain't no big deal. You know, same thing with Tyler. Tyler, when he first lost, he cried too. Tyler's gotten better at it. When he's lost, he's like, okay, now I know what I need to work on better. I tell him, hey, I'll tell you why you lost. And I'll tell you why you could have won. But you know what? It's okay. Let's put that behind us and let's move forward. And let's use that experience that we just had right there, and let's go ahead and put it to this next fight. Because we can win. You can win every fight. Like I tell them, every fight they've lost, you could have won that fight. But you didn't, so let's move on.
Their first match was against each other, and Grandma was opposed to it all the way. I did everything I could do to stop it, and their dad walked in and said, why? Let them fight.
The first match together, it was kind of rough. They had called and asked me, and I said yes, you know, because they both really wanted to fight, and I knew it was against each other, but that was the only matchup they could get, and it was kind of rough, you know. I got to be in one corner, and we had another coach in the other corner. Coach Eddie, he couldn't take a side, you know. It was too hard on him too, so it was difficult for everybody.
One of my parents who was bringing down their kids said, hey, can you be in their corner? And then Brian Sr., I said, hey, you can be in whoever corner you'd like to be if you want to, because he doesn't have to. I had someone else. But he picked someone's corner. I said, okay, now I'll just watch. They fought their heart out. The whole crowd was cheering because it was a very exciting fight. They were going at it. So I was very happy.
One time I heard one say, you know I can whoop you. And he goes, yeah, well, that was a bad day. And they laughed about it, and that was it. And I have never heard no animosity between them or about that.
It was a big competition type thing. Like, we both wanted to beat each other. And the other one thought that if we beat him, then he would go brag and do all that, but we really didn't brag after. Like he said, it was big competition, you know. Just trained a lot, and we still loved each other and stuff, and you know, we didn't get mad after the fight or anything. It was just a fight.
For them being a boxer at this age, one of the biggest things is they can brag to their friends. I mean, how many 7th graders do you know that box? How many have you ever known that box? You know, these kids at this age, you know, they go to their school. Nobody boxes in their grade. Not a single one. Nobody go and actually competes. And these kids, Brian and Tyler, you know, they could say, hey, you know, I box, I enjoy it, and I think it gives them confidence. You know, confidence that they're able to say, you know, I box, I do this, you know, and I fight competitively, because they do fight competitively. So I think it gives them a boost, gives them confidence, it gives something to work for too.
I think it's unique because they've caught on really fast, and they've really excelled pretty quick, and they've, you know, a lot of people talk about the twins this and the twins that, and it's pretty neat to see that, you know, their names is already getting out there at such a young age.
They're good to the other one. Like if one loses, they still go out there with the other one with Coach Eddie and encourages them what to do and things, because they both go to ringside for the other one.
they're very competitive with each other. So if one's doing better than the other, I can see the other one wants to push himself. But if one's slacking, the other one will tell them, hey, you need to pick it up. So they push each other, which is good, you know, and they each have their own identity, though. You know, because when they first came, I know that being a twin is probably hard because, you know, they can't tell nobody apart, or, hey, they think you're your brother, you're their brother, or whatnot. But they've developed their own identity, to each their own, and, you know, I think that's good for them.
We tell each other to push it even harder, and we just push each other harder than we usually work. So it's a good thing. We have each other to push. I like him down here because it gives me more motivation to push myself. So like if he's beat me in a race and I know that I gotta run faster or push myself. And I also like having him here because most of the days not many people come that we could spar. So we have each other to spar like every day.
Their drive is just, it's anything. I mean, they excel at every sport they do, and they just can't take no for an answer, and they won't give up, and they try to succeed to the best that they can.
My biggest thing that I'm most proud of them is that they've continued to stick with the sport. That they still show the hunger. It's as if whenever they fight, I feel it's as if it's their first time fighting. They're excited. They're nervous. They're excited. You know, and I love that because in this sport, there's a lot of quitters. You know, there's kids that tell me every day, I want to be this, I want to do that, but you show 1 or 2 times at the gym and I'll never see you again. There's one kids that get their one fight and they never come back. So there's a lot of quitters that don't continue the sport, don't have the hunger, don't have that drive, you know, but they do. You know, they're here every day. Every day they're here. And even when I'm not open, they're still here. They still come help me volunteer, do something. You know, so I think they still have that hunger because you can get burned out. So I would say that I'm so proud that they got that hunger and that I've seen them grown up. I've seen them change as people. You know, they each have their own personality, and I see them getting more mature. You know, they're still kids. Still, you know, they just turned 13. They're teenagers, barely, but I see them growing.
There you go. Move, Brian. Move though. Don't get too excited. Stay in the middle, Brian. Control that circle. Control it. Let your brother come to you, man. Good, Brian. Good, Brian. Finish that 3, Tyler. Finish that 3. I see it all day. I'm looking right at it. Come on. Good. Let's get it again. Where's that body?